buying a Troy Bilt Flex log splitter. Well, I purchased this one brand new about 3 months ago, and in that time I've probably split somewhere around 4 to 5 cords with it. Probably have about 15 to 20 hours on it. The short review is, yes, I would buy it again. It's not perfect, but when it comes to reviews, you know, at the end of the day, it really comes down to you just have to ask somebody, would they buy that unit again? It's either yes or no. And yes, I would buy this again. That's the short review. So, for the long review, here we go. So I purchased this about 4 months ago, like I said, put about 4 to 5 cords through it. I haven't had any real mechanical failures with it. No problems with it. Price-wise, this machine, if you just bought this as a wood splitter, it's pretty competitive with other wood splitters out there. You know, this unit right here is $675 for the splitter, and the base is what, $400. So you're looking at about $1,100 for this complete unit, which is pretty comparable to other entry-level wood splitters out there, consumer-grade wood splitters. If you look around, they start at about $1,000. So just buying this unit as a wood splitter, I think is a good idea, and that's why I bought it. But I did get a few other attachments for it because the fact that it'll do other things is just a bonus. The positives of this wood splitter. Well, it's a self-propelled wood splitter. It's the only one on the market. You saw me drive this in here. I can drive it out back to my wood pile. I don't have to hook it behind my ATV or lawn tractor. If I get done splitting one log, I drop a tree somewhere else, I can just drive it over there. Right there sells the unit for me. There is no other wood splitter that I'm aware of on the market, unless you got a 3-point hitch one that you can hook to a tractor, that you can do that with. You have to hook them up to something and pull them wherever they go. So that right there is probably the biggest positives of this unit. The other thing is storage. Most people, when they buy wood splitters, they're big, they're bulky, they don't fit well in a garage, they don't fit well in a shed. Most people just leave them outside and put a tarp over them, myself included. But not with this unit. I drive it up into the shed, I unhook this, it fits right up against the wall, takes up about the same amount of room as the mower deck on my lawn tractor when I take it off. Takes up very little room, and then I go ahead and I hook the power unit up to the mower. So storing its compact size and ability to store this unit is also a very big positive. Other things are, as you see in my previous video, it does split wood well. It's very powerful for its size. I know it says 8 tons. I split a lot of wood, and I think 8 tons is very conservative. I have not found a log that stalls this unit out yet, and so far, like I said, I've done about 5 cords with it. Now, I'm the type of person that if I get a huge log that's full of knots, I have enough wood where I'll just ignore it. Even when I'm splitting by hand, or even with a bigger splitter, it's not worth my effort. I just throw it off to the side and move on. So for me, this splitter is more than enough. And like I said, I tried a few tough ones on this, a few V-notches. I even did it in one of my previous videos, and I could not get this unit to stall out. For what it is, a consumer-grade wood splitter, I feel it has more than enough power. It's very easy to use, the handle, and it'll lock into the reverse position, so you can get another log and put it on there, and it pops back. You'll get faster at it the more you use it. Yes, I've seen where a few people complain you have to bend over to put the log on it, and you're right, that can be hard, but honestly, any entry-level $1,000 wood splitter, you have to do that. None of them have hydraulic tables on them at that price point, and that's really the only thing that'll get the log up off the ground is a hydraulic table. I'm not going to fault this wood splitter for being low to the ground, because they all are. One thing I think you could do with this, if you wanted to get it off the ground because it is self-propelled, you could put some ramps, some car ramps, and drive this thing up onto the car ramps and have it elevated. It would be really easy to do with this unit. You wouldn't be able to do that with any other units. I haven't done that yet. I may experiment with that next year. We'll see. Again, I don't really have a problem bending over to use this machine. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll get the wood close and I'll put a bucket, I'll sit on the bucket, put the wood on and off. It's not a huge deal at all. Another positive of this unit is it is extremely efficient on gas. Now maybe it's just because I have a lot of older engines around here and a few newer ones, but this engine, I could split wood for around 4 hours on a tank of gas. 4 to 5 hours. That's pretty good. In this tank, I think it's only a 2-gallon, it's not even a 2-gallon tank. I think it's like 1.5 or something like that. So that's pretty good. The build quality on this unit, it's not up to what I would call a commercial spec, but it is pretty good for residential. I know some of the MTD, and Bilt is owned by MTD, units are on the chintzy side. I'm going to try to be nice. You know, the units you get at Walmart and some of the stuff at Home Depot, it's pretty bad. But this unit is it's a step above that. And I've read in other forums that this, and if you go to the Bilt's website, this unit is actually made in the United States by Bilt. The engine's not. The engine is some Chinese manufacturer, like most companies have. Even John Deere is used for small engines, is using some Chinese engines. So that's just the way it is nowadays. And this one seems to be okay. I haven't had any problems with it yet. And the build quality, so the build quality on this is a step above a lot of the MTD stuff. And even if you go to their website and you look, and this is usually the exception, they'll have, oh, you need to go to this website or that website to get information on one of their units. This one is the exception, and this one is built by MTD in the United States. And it is, the quality is very good on this. This unit alone, the log splitter without the engine and without the power head is 150 pounds. So it is heavy. Let me just show you quickly how you would set this thing up. So you drive it out to where you're splitting wood. And if you haven't seen this, let me get the camera a little closer here. So you would just drive it up to your wood pile. Again, look at my previous videos. I made a few videos on splitting wood with this. Pull this out. Put the pin back in. And you're ready to split. And at first I thought, that's a little odd, that's a little hokey, but you know what? I haven't had any problems with it, and it does make the unit very compact for storage, so it seems to be a very good design. It's simple, and it works good. Now, there are a few negatives of this unit, and I'm not just picking on MTD. Everything has its minuses. Probably the biggest minus I can think of is long-term reliability questions. And again, like I said, I would buy this unit again. It does have some good positives. But because this is a modular system, I am concerned about how they drive the pump on, how it's connected to the engine. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. This right here is my concern. Now, again, I haven't, in 4 to 5 hours, in the 5 cords of wood, I've had no problem. I've had no mechanical failures. It doesn't look like anything's going to fail. But having done a lot of mechanical work and some design stuff myself, This is always a weak point when you're hooking an electrical motor to a pump, or even a gasoline engine to a pump, or some kind of drive unit. These, you have to have this perfectly aligned, or it just, years and years of use will wear this down. How they have overcome that problem with this is they put these little plastic, it's supposed to rub on the plastic and not on the metal. Let me try to zoom in on it. So as you can see, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it in the video, I'm trying to play cameraman here at the same time as talking, and I am not a photographer. So hopefully you can see this in the video. But these little plastic things, which are replaceable, they're not very expensive. It's like $2 for all of them. After about 5 hours, I can see that I probably should replace them. They're worn down. Again, I don't see any other wear on this. This is a metal drive cog, I guess you'd call it, and there's another one on the power base. I haven't had any problems, but it does, when you first start the engine or shut it off, you can hear this kind of clanking. We'll see. Time will tell on this if it lasts or not. I'm not sure, but that is one of my concerns. But I can't say I've had a problem with the unit because I haven't. And really, that's the only major thing. That's the only big thing I'm concerned about. Everything else is just small fit and finish issues. You'll see I have a kinked, I think this is the return line. I left it like this. I'm just going to cut the zip tie off. But it became kinked from the factory. Not a huge deal. Still works. Easy fix for me. No problem. But just a little fit and finish issue. There's also a pin in here. Let me get the camera over there so I try to get zoomed in on this thing. This doesn't come assembled from the factory. This is the lever that runs it. And you have to assemble this. And what this is, it's pretty ingenious what they did. This is nothing but a master link from a chain that they used. I think it's a pretty good idea. And this is more of a message for Troy Bilt. A lot of people that are going to buy this unit, people in the suburbs, they're not going to have a lot of mechanical experience. And I think trying to get this master link together is going to cause Troy Bilt a headache. Because for those of you who know, the master link has that clip on the side that's real easy to send flying across the garage on a chain. Trying to do it in here, even I had some issues getting this on. So I think the master link from an engineering standpoint was a good idea. Now that it's together, it'll never come apart. But I think some people are going to have problems putting this link together. So Troy Bilt may want to just, you know, use something a little bit different there. Just a suggestion. There are a few other things that on the actual base unit that kind of concern me. Not big things. Again, even mowing the lawn, I haven't had any failures of any kind. And I've got a hard lawn to mow with steep hills. I've hit a rock already with it. Nothing has broken or failed. But I think some of the bolts are going to come loose on this. And again, that was just an assembly. I noticed a loose bolt from the factory. Not a big deal. I'm going to tighten them up. I expect I might have to get some Loctite and put them on several fasteners. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with the actual base unit. I will review the actual base unit more when I use the mower a lot more, sometime around the middle of the summer. Because the wood splitter really doesn't put any kind of stress. It just sits there and runs. So the wood splitter is not really a good test of what good the base unit itself is. Another thing I would like to add is if you're thinking of buying one of these, especially the wood splitter attachment, I wouldn't wait around for years. I've seen, this isn't the first time that a modular power unit like this has been on the market. They've come and gone through the years. There's Gravely, which actually I think just started making them again. BCS has always been making ones like these, and there's several ones out there that have come and gone. Most of the time you can get the mower attachments, the snowblower attachments Probably even the pressure washer attachment will never disappear. But something like this log splitter attachment for Troy Bilt, I don't know how much of a market there is for the log splitter attachment. Number one, it has to be somebody who burns wood to buy this. Number two, it has to be somebody who splits their own wood to buy this. And I would assume it would only be in the northern part of the country where people are going to buy this. So I think the wood splitter has a limited market, and I'm super happy that Troy Bilt came out with it. It's a good unit, but I think they're probably going to have it. They've probably already made their production, they've probably already run their production on these, and they have them in stock. And after a couple of years, when these are out of stock, they're done. They've saturated the market with this, where people have already had the base unit, and that'll be it. And I've seen that happen with other attachments. I've seen Gravely do it. I think Gravely had a wood splitter at one time too. And again, they had it for a couple of years. You could still get parts for it. But once they sold out of their production, that was it. There was just not enough of a market to keep them producing just the wood splitter. So if you're thinking of this unit at all for the wood splitter and for other things, I recommend getting the wood splitter right off the bat, because I think you'll see the wood splitter disappear in a few years. If this unit really takes off, maybe it'll come back and they'll do another run on it. Maybe not. So thanks for watching. And another thing I'd like to say, this is for Troy Bilt or MTD. I would really like to see some kind of brush cutter for this unit. Now I know because of the regulations you can't make a sickle bar mower anymore, and you can thank our government for that. You can't make a walk-behind sickle bar mower because the knives are exposed. I looked it up. But what I would like to see is just either a small flail mower or a small brush hog that goes on the front of this. I know it's only 6 horsepower, but I've used, Garden Way used to have a small 6 horsepower brush unit, and it works slick. So I think it's something, Troy, you guys could make, and it would be the only one on the market. It would compete with nothing if you had it at Home Depot. There are other walk-behind brush units, but let's face it, they're $3,000 or $4,000. So DR, probably the cheapest one, and that one's, what, $2,000? If you made just a small brush unit to go on the front of this, $500, $600 plus the base unit, you would be way below anything else on the market. I think it would sell very well. Thanks for watching. Don't be afraid to subscribe or add comments down below, positive or negative. And stay tuned, and I will do a review on the mower once I get probably 10 hours on it.